Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Gopi Jana Nishodananda Vajranjana Yashodananda Vajranjana Tira Vachari Tira Vachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 5, Cause of all causes, Text 21. Adam, Karma, Swabhav, Yeah, that's the right word. Next one. I do. Ka, Gunavyatikara, Parinama, Swabhavata, Karma, Janma, Mahataha, Purusha Adhishtitat, Abhut, first, Ka, Harinama Swabhavata, Kamano Janma Mahata, Purusha Abhut, Aguna Vyatikara, Harinama Swabhavata, Kamano Janma Mahata, Purushadhisthitadabhut, Aladguna Vyatikara, Harinama Swabhavataha, Kamano Janma Mahata, Purushadhisthitadabhut,
Sabhataha Ramano Janmamata Purushastishthatada Bhut Aladguna Vyatikara Harinama Svabhavataha Karmano Janmamahata Purushadhisthitata Bhut Aladguna Vyatikara Harinama Svabhavataha Karmano Janmamahata Purushadhisthitata Bhut
Kaladguna Vyatikara Parinama Svabhavataha Karmano Janma Mahataha Purusha Dishtitad Abut
Kaladguna Vyatikaraha Paranama Svabhavataha Karmano Jama Mahata Purushadhishtitad Abahut Kaladguna Vyatikara Parinama Svabhavataha Kamano Janmamahata Purushadhisthitata Bhut Kaladguna Vyatikara Parinama Svabhavataha Karmano Janmamahata Purushadhisthitata Bhut
Kaladguna Vitikaraha Parinama Svabhavata Karmano Janma Mataha Purushadhisthitad Abut
Please. Kala from eternal time. Vinavyatikaraha, transformation of the modes by reaction. Parinamaha, transformation. Bhavataha, from the nature. Karmanaha, of activities. Janma, creation. Mahataha, of the Mahatattva. Purusha Adhishtat, Purusha Adhishtitat, incarnation of the Lord. Bhut, it took place. After the incarnation of the first Purusha, Karanarnavashayi Vishnu, the Mahatattva, or the principles of material creation, take place. And then time is manifested. And in course of time, Right.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. By the omnipotency of the Supreme Lord, the whole material creation evolves by the process of transformation and reactions one after another. And by the same omnipotency, they are wound up again one after another and conserved in the body of the Supreme. Kala, or time, is the symptom of nature and is the transformed manifestation of the principles of material creation. As such, Kala may be taken as the first cause of creation, and by transformation of different different activities of the material world become visible. These activities may be taken up as the natural instinct of each and every living being, or even of the inert objects. And after the manifestation of activities, there are varieties of products and byproducts of the same nature. Originally, these are all due to the Supreme Lord. The Vedanta Sutras and the Bhagavatam thus begin with the absolute truth as the beginning of all creations. Janmani Asya Yataha.
And Lord Brahma says, Sarvakara Karam, that I worship Govinda, who is the cause of all causes, the original person. Well, the question is whether person comes first or whether living entities, or whether persons are put together or come into being after the ingredients. And the answer is given here, no. The person is first. And some of we don't see any persons. That's very nicely explained here. You don't see them because they're so expert. The system is so well coordinated that not everyone can see how it's going on. It's like, to give a crude example, you go to the airport, there's a tower, control tower, and they're giving instructions to the airplanes when to come in, when to make their landing, when to. And sometimes they may even guide the airplane if it's in a storm. The control tower takes over the instruments and guides automatically. So this is not possible for everyone to see or to understand. It's very sophisticated. But those who are advanced in the understanding of how these things are going on, they can know how the airplane can be guided by someone who's not right there in the airplane through different energies. If an ordinary man has so many energies he can work through, just like the separated energy, Prabhupada gives a nice example that when someone is speaking, if that speaking is recorded, then it can be played another place at a different time, and it sounds just like the person. So it is the energy of the person, separated energy. It's not him directly, but it's parinama. This word here is parinama. This is the difference between the Mayavadis and the Vaishnavas. Mayavadis think the absolute truth has been changed. He has become everything. Pantheism. The absolute truth has given up his individuality. Like they say, if you take piece of paper and you rip it up into 20 parts, then there's no more paper. There's no more original paper. That's a material example. You could also use the example we have in more recent times, the digital copy. If you make a digital copy from the original, it's the same. And the original doesn't become decreased or increased. You can make as many digital copies as you want, and they won't diminish the original. So again, digital copy is just a very small level of advancement in understanding how the universe works, but it gives us some idea. If we can do that in our computers, imagine how much God, with his supreme intelligence and so many energies, he can arrange for suns to be revolving in the sky at different rates and speeds. It's not an accident. If it were an accident, then it would accidentally go faster and it would accidentally go slower. But it's so precise that the whole universe works on the principle of the movements of the sun and the planets and stars. To put forward the theory that this happens by chance is simply not a very intelligent proposal. So here, God's managing how he creates the universe is given in more detail. He has different energies. Parasha Shakti Vividhaiva Shriyute. Swabhavaki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. And these energies work so amazingly, they seem to be automatic. Although it's not automatic, the person who's behind it is the Mayadakshena Prakriti. He says in Bhagavad Gita, I supervise the material energy. Prakriti means material energy, female. And just like when a female comes in contact with a male, pregnancy takes place. And when pregnancy takes place, then the whole body of the female is transformed. And another body becomes manifest. And then it's given its individuality. And then it has its own heartbeat. All these things are going on by the contact of the Purusha. Purusha means the supreme male. And all the other living entities are Prakriti. Prakriti means nature or female. All living entities are in one sense female. And he's the supreme original male. And he impregnates material nature, Mahatattva, by his glance, Saikshata. He glances over material nature, Mahata, and he impregnates her with innumerable living entities. And then they all take different forms. According to the 8,400,000 species of life, which are transformations of nature, 3 modes of material nature. 3 modes of material nature doesn't come until a time factor is established. Time factor is another manifestation of the Lord. Kalosmi, I'm time, Krishna says. And in the material world, everything is destroyed by time. So we would think, well, if the Lord lives on some planet, it must be destroyed at some time, and God won't exist. No, God is controlling time. It's not that time is controlling him. Nothing material controls him. And he's existing before time came, before the Mahatattva, before the three modes of material nature, before any of these subtle features of nature. He's the source. Bija and Yoni. Bija means seed. The male gives the seed, and the female, she gives the egg in the womb, and she's developed there within the body of the female. The same principle is working on a small scale even now. A male rooster gives a seed to the female, and in due course of time, a whole egg is produced, and then the egg comes out chicken. This is not accidental. It's not that accidentally chickens come, eggs come. They say it's all happening by chance laws. But if you say laws, it has to be lawgiver. Who makes the laws? Law means this is how it is. So who decides how it is? That's God, the original lawgiver. And he's working over everything. He's controlling everything. Mayavadis say that the one Brahman loses all individuality and is all impersonal. Actually, it's not. Even the characteristics of every living entity are given by the Supreme Lord, and characteristics of the species, of the forms of the bodies, it's given, and even the characteristics of the inanimate objects, like stones, hardness, like water, liquidity. All these qualities are imbued by the arrangement of the Supreme. So rather than say that there's no God in control, everything's happening by chance or it comes from the void, if one has more intelligence, he goes further to investigate. Like they have persons who do, they try to find out why something happened in the past. And they go back and they trace out the steps, and they look at the fire, where the fire began in the building, as far as they can go. They try their best to put together some reasonable explanation of why the explosion took place, why the fire took place. And they're paid good money to do that. So if one has further intelligence, he can trace out how the universe began, how living entities, where they come from. What is the source of everything? That's real philosophy. Philosophy doesn't just mean to theorize, make up theories, but to actually find out the original cause. And the original cause is Krishna. according to Lord Brahma. And he's the best witness. He's the only one who was present with the Lord. Before him, there was just the Lord. Aham great. That's one of the Chaturshloki of the Bhagavatam. That before the universe, I was there, and during the universe, during its existence, I'm there. And after the universe is removed, is gone, avyakta, then I'm still there. That's the Lord. And this requires intelligence to find out from the right persons. And Narad Muni is going to the right person. So we're fortunate. The work has been done for us. And all we have to do is accept it. And how can we not accept it? What better alternative have we come up with? Simply that we don't see any God. Therefore, it's happening by chance, or we have a theory that certain inert chemicals were present and they combined accidentally and they produced living being and an evolution took place. But the problem is there's no proof of that. Whereas we see, even in the present, as in the past, whenever there's some organization, there's an organizer. If you go to a Rolex watch company and look at the factory, it's very organized, as exactly as you would expect, because the watch is very precise and it's all compact and a little case and so many things that goes on. It seems like it goes on automatically. Not automatic. Very precise work done in Switzerland. If you want to do these things, you need great intelligence and expertise. Just for a Rolex watch, what to speak of the whole universe, and what to speak of millions of universes. He's producing millions of universes just by his exhalation. We also have a similar power. We can not produce germs, but we can emanate germs as we breathe out. Millions of germs. If there's a person who has some disease that can be spread to others, he can spread out millions of his disease germs and they can affect millions of other persons. That's our small amount of mystic power. We can even be falling asleep and producing all these germs into the atmosphere. That comes from, everything comes from the Lord. He's existing on Acarya-Nishta, the ocean, causal ocean. He's the first Purusha, the first Vishnu expansion of the Lord. Originally there was Krishna, then Balaram, then Sankarshan, then after some time the expansions, then the Purusha, 3 Purushas. First one is Mahavishnu. And from him, as described here, the Mahatattva. After the incarnation of the first Purusha, Acarya-Nishta Vishnu, the Mahatattva, or the principles of material creation. So this is all the stock of elements. Bhumira Pona Lovayu Kamano Budhireja. 5 Mahabhuta, 5 great elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And then mind, intelligence, and ego, the subtle features are manifest. And nature then, qualities of nature appear, 3 modes of material nature. Then these modes, they begin to take over at because of the arrangement of, again, the Lord and Kala, time, his energy, and the Prakriti, nature, she begins to act through these 3 modes. And the 3 modes, mode of passion begins putting everything together, organizing everything. As Brahma's, he's in charge of the mode of passion. And then once it's arranged by Brahma, then Lord Vishnu maintains everything through his energies. And then Lord Shiva, who's an expansion of Vishnu, and he destroys everything by his energies. How can one person destroy the whole universe? He's given that power. He's empowered by the Lord. So everyone with any power at all is empowered by the Lord. And the supreme original first cause is Krishna. Therefore, the Vedanta Sutra says, Janma Jasyataha. And the Bhagavatam begins with that same verse, Janma Jasyatom Vitari Taratas Charte Sabhigya Sarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Arikaveye Vyadiyat Surya Tejo Vari Mutam Vinimato Yatachi Sargomusha Tamna Sena Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. And it's a whole explanation of this. The whole Bhagavatam is an explanation of this verse. Janma Jasyata, a further explanation. This is the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. This is why the Vaishnavas, they never thought it necessary to write a commentary on the Vedanta Sutra like the Mayavadis do. And the Mayavadis said, or others, they said that can't be accepted as a bona fide sampradaya unless you have a tika, unless you've explained the Vedanta Sutra. And the reason it wasn't done before is because it's already done. Vyasadeva did it. Vyasadeva wrote the commentary, very elaborate, 18,000 verses. Anyway, everything is there. It's all explained, how the universe happens, how the cosmic creation is wound up at the end. It's all put back into the body. Mahavishnu becomes avyakta, unmanifest, as he says in Bhagavad Gita, Maya tatamitam sarvam jagaravyaktamurtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavasita. By me, my unmanifested form, all the universe, everything is created, is maintained. In one sense, I'm everywhere, I'm everything. Then again, I'm outside of everything. I'm a person. I'm not affected by this. Everything is in me, but I am not in them. So it's inconceivable. Achintya beta beta tattva. To understand how everything can be done simultaneously, how time is working, how the universe is moving, how to overcome the influence of nature. And that's what we should be trying to understand. That's the most important thing. Bhagavatam gives a nice, brief, consolidated explanation. Of course, it could be going on for millions of pages. The elaborate description of the creation of the universe. But in summary, it's given nicely, distinct. But you see, there are persons, there are demigods, they play their roles. Demigods are coming from the three modes of material nature. Mahatattva. Mahatattva comes from Mahavishnu. All these amazing things are going on. And rather than say there's no God, why don't we learn how God is actually working? So Bhagavatam, this should be standard study in every educational institution, because otherwise we're not giving them the fair deal. The poor children are brought into this world in ignorance, and they're kept in ignorance. They don't get a chance to understand this. But by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu and his followers, people are getting a chance to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and these descriptions. And a real scientist, he'll agree. He'll have to agree. He'll say, yes, this is a very logical sequence of events, and they should use their scientific brains to explain how the Lord does it. He can't explain exactly, because you need intelligence like Brahma to understand. He didn't understand it all. He doesn't know how things are going through him. But still, he's submissive and he carries out his orders as they come from the higher authority. Well, a scientist would be doing a good service with his study of science if he showed how the three modes are working, how they influence different elements, how the chemicals are organized according to the three modes of material nature, how nature is working under the direction, not exclusive of God, not by itself. They say nature is the cause of everything. It's not the cause of everything. Nature's female. Females don't give birth to living offspring by themselves. They have to be in touch with the male. So the supreme male has to be there. This is science. This is knowledge. This is how it works. We can see, we can get some inkling of the brilliance. Like great scientists like Einstein, they say, such great scientists, they say, when I study the intricacies of the universe, I become so impressed that God must be such a great personality, so intelligent. Even Darwin, he said, when I look at the eye, the intricate workings of an eye, for seeing and focusing and all these things, I become amazed. And his theory of automatic evolution falls apart, because it's not happening by chance. An eye doesn't happen by chance. It has to have the touch of a person. And the original touch, the original person is Janmajasyata. He's there. From him, everything comes. All the persons, all the elements, all the chemicals, time, you name it, it all comes from him. And he has perfect control over it. At his discretion, he can bring in time. Like we were thinking, we look up at the sky, we say, well, sky seems to be unlimited. It seems that way to our little brains, unlimited, but it's not unlimited. It's under the control of Vishnu. Right? He's the controller of sky. He can make more sky. He can make way sky. He can dissolve sky. You say, how? That doesn't make sense. We say it. It's not possible. Not possible for us. But God can do things that's not possible for us to do. This simple, humble admittance from the beginning that if there were such a brain, if there were a God, then it would be wonderful to learn something about him. You can't force him to appear, but if you take up his instructions, yes, I can be known, I can be understood. Aviyesha gunamayi mama maya duratya mam eva ye prapajante mayam etam tarantite. It's very difficult to cross over the ocean of material existence, but if someone surrenders to Krishna, he can very easily cross beyond. No more bewilderment. He can go into the unlimited transcendental knowledge. That's why Krishna never becomes boring, because whatever you're interested in, Krishna has that quality to the unlimited degree. Beauty. You're looking for beauty? You can look as deep as you want to look, as close as you want. You'll find more beauty in Krishna. Or knowledge. You're looking for knowledge. It's more technology there. Everything unlimited. Therefore, he satisfies the devotees. They're always satisfied because he can satisfy them. An ordinary person, he runs out of knowledge. He says, that's all I know. Can you tell me something more? No. That's it. He's not God. God knows everything, past, present, and future. And he's the dearmost living entity, or dearmost friend of all living entities. Surit, Suritama. Surit means very good-hearted friend. The best type of friend is Surit. Not just an ordinary friend, Mitra, but well-wisher, eternal well-wisher. That's Krishna and his devotees. What time is it? 14. 40. Okay, so we can stop there. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.